give you a couple of pointers and a few things you need to think about for bugging out in the woods. That's even if you can get there in the first place with traffic jams, etc. There's actually a bit more knowledge and skills needed to do this. And we've arrived. Here's a first look at our surroundings. Miles and miles of trees. It's pretty big, but it's very beautiful.
Good afternoon, it's Dave the Urban Survivalist. I hope you're well. Now today, a little bit of a reality check on people that say they're going to bug out to the woods. So we bugged out to the woods, as you can see around me. It's all nice and beautiful here. Now what do we do? Now the first thing we want to do is go off the main paths. Let's go. Now what we would do in this situation, if it was a long-term bug out situation, we would be looking for a water source. I know this woods pretty well and I know where the water sources are.
Everybody else is going to be looking for, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's get this. Oh, that'll work.
Yeah, nice.
Thing is, you might not always have your gear with you as well, so it's better to be reliant on the least amount of gear possible.
Okay, the reason why we go off the main paths is because, as you see, local visitors to the wood or people who live in the local area that come here quite often, these areas would be the first they would come because they're used to coming. As you can see here, we've got a nice rope swing. There you go. What you've also got to think when you come to the woods, I mean, even though this woods is a big place, lots of people come here. Lots of people will have exactly the same idea as you. So at the moment, we're searching for a water source. We've come off the main paths and we're searching for a water source. Let's keep searching. I mean, it is beautiful around here, but again, we're still searching for water. So in a shit hits the fan situation, we would have been spending 20 minutes burning calories looking for water at the moment. So this is why good recce's of places are always good to know. Luckily I do know that there is a small water supply on here, which we will have a look at. But yeah, really beautiful. Obviously there's so many turns, unless you know the area well, and even if you know woods well, you can still get lost in there. So we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, as you can see the hill up there, we got 4, we got 5, we got another path just up there. So we got 6 ways where we could possibly go at the moment. I mean, look at that, it looks beautiful up there, but I know there's nothing up there, so I'm not going to go up there. Okay, so we've walked for about another mile and we've come across one of the water sources in this woods. There's another one up the hill, but I want to show you this. Would you drink this? Okay, as you can see, we're going through here. Now obviously the signs we're looking for is some sort of movement in it. So here we are. So you see this? Now would you drink this? Chances are, probably not. Now I'm going to tell you a little story that me and my brother went on a wild camp hiking. We did 46 miles in 2 days and we ran out of water. So this pond, we literally removed the water through with a soya water filter and we boiled it and we drank it. And we'd seen dogs jumping in here and everything, the same as the other one. And literally we was fine. We had no problems, no tummy aches, no nothing. Obviously it's not ideal, but in a survival situation, it would do. We come across this, and like I say, we have done this before. So people go, oh, it's stagnant, it's mouldy and stuff like that. Yes, but we did actually use a soya filter and boil it, and it was fine. But again, that would be down to personal choice. Obviously, if you didn't have a water filter on you, you can use sand and stones and rocks and stuff like that, if you can find them, to try and filter it out. But again, without the soya water filter or the water to go, anything like that, you need to get rid of it because it's probably full of parasites and like viruses and stuff like that. So it would need to be boiling, rolling boil, and then it would be fit enough to drink, just to get by. So also, next to this water source here, if we go off the main path, we got a little lock away here, which is tucked away from the main path. You know, we got a little area here, which is quite nice. So again, a survival situation, I'll probably hunker down here, probably in that space under here, and I would have the mouldy water source there, which I would use as an emergency only. So again, as we're going down here, see the dips here? I mean, what do you think about camping under there? There's lots of different places, but what you've got to remember is when you bug out into the woods, probably 60% of the population are having the same idea. And off up the hill we go. Yeah, so as our next job shelter, we will also be wanting to make a fire overnight to keep warm. So there's a lot of pine trees in here, so I'll be looking around for like fat wood and maybe resin. So again, anything that's going to be combustible or going to help us make a fire. As you can see, we're still powering up this hill, so we've probably walked a total of 3 miles at the moment, and we haven't found a totally clean water source, and we haven't found a place for camping, but we managed to get off the road. Now it's really bloody hot today. Only mad dogs and Englishmen bathe in the midday sun. It's fucking boiling, excuse the French. Okay, next thing we're going to say, I'm not going to make a shelter today because it's hot and we're just out, and I'm just making trying to say an example of what we need to do. So we're going here. My shelter picture here is on there, but I'm going to still see if one of my old shelter frames is in here that I built, and it is. Let's just go and have a look. I can get under it. Now see, I picked this area because it's off the main path. It's literally a 10-minute walk to a water source. And there you go. So it hasn't been knocked down. It needs covering again. But that wasn't a bad job actually, because that's been there for 2 years. Let's have a look from the front. So yeah, you can see it's nice and cool under here. It's not too hot. Little bushcraft shelter. So far we've gathered, if you get to the woods, you're going to need to find water. You're going to need to find shelter, and you're also going to have some sort of heating source. Fire, again, depends on the situation. If there's people after you, the last thing you want is a fire. Okay? Then, obviously, we're not going to go into this today. You've seen my trapping videos. I would tend to be setting traps in the area because there's a lot of squirrels, there's a lot of pigeons. So that is probably where I would go for my food source. So obviously with this, because I know this area quite well, because we've been wild camping here and hiking through here quite a lot, I would come here as a stopgap and I would use this. I would scrape out, I would recover it with furs or whatever. I'd have a little fire pit here and we'd be ready to go to the morning. So it's a good stop off point at least. So another thing, so you got to the woods and you bugged out and you found some sort of dodgy water source for now until you can collect water or anything like that. You managed to build a shelter out of the way. You managed to set some traps for food. Now what happens if anyone else turns up? This is something else that people have got to think about when you're bugging out in the woods. It's like I say, a lot of people are going to think about this and want to be doing this because it's lovely out here. I mean, look, it's beautiful. Okay? But a lot of people are going to have the same idea. So you're also going to need to protect it. So I would suggest for that, you have at least a few of you when you go to do it. Because there's strength in numbers and also for getting resources and stuff like that. But again, if you think of the realities of it, in the UK, or any country really, you go in the woods, if it's the sort of powers that be that are after you and stopping you going here, they have robot dogs, they have infrared, they have thermal. There's not a lot you can do to escape. And this is why I still favour, as much as I love all this, I still favour the urban environment. Some little other things to take into account also is weather. I mean, are you prepared for the cold? Are you prepared for the heat? I mean, today is only about 22 and it is boiling. We've walked a few miles and it is bloody boiling. So be prepared for the heat, be prepared for the cold. Also the rain and wind. Again, when you're looking for a place in the woods, look out for widow makers, fallen trees or branches that have the possibility to fall on you. We don't want none of that. We want to stay as safe as we can and tucked away. Still walking through, so we probably covered about 4 miles today so far. Now we seem to come across a main road that separates it. So again, obviously, main road, something to stay away from in general, unless you're looking for help or anything like that. To be honest, I think on a bug out situation, I mean, as people know, I have a few bug out locations. I've got one down on the coast, one in the woods, one underground. I've got a few, but it's not as easy as sticking put. You know your local area, you know what to do, you know the people, you know the resources. So if you've got a bug out location and you're not visiting, you're not getting out and about, you're going to struggle if the shit actually goes down. So in my urban area, the only time I would bug out is literally if it was the last resort. I have people there, I have resources there, I have tools, I know where everything is, so it's food for thought anyway. Also, just came to me as I'm walking back, make sure you're fit enough to do this. I mean, we have covered about 4 or 5 miles now. It's like, I'm not really breaking a sweat because I have a good basic fitness. But a lot of people I know can't climb a flight of stairs. So walking on this terrain, all these different locations, getting in and out of trees and, you know, walking these rough paths, takes a lot of fitness. I mean, the hill we've just done was probably about 800 metres long, and it's bloody knackered me, and I'm quite fit. But, you know, another thing to bear in mind. Also, another interesting thing is where we go camping in the woods, or where we go like hiking in the woods, 9 times out of 10 there's no GPS signal. So that's a good thing. So if anyone was trying to track you, chances are they would find your last known location would probably be on the outside of the woods. So it doesn't help them much. Also, as I've mentioned before, I'm not trying to put people out bugging out in the woods, because I love it. I spend a lot of time in the woods. Me and my friends and my family do. But literally, go out and spend the night in the woods, because the first time is very strange. These strange animal noises, all these things. You've got to get used to these things, because there's nothing worse if you've got to bug out with your wife and kids and they're trying to go to sleep in a tent and you've got little mice crawling at the door or something like that, or badgers moving about, or foxes. They need to get used to the sounds. It's very frightening when you're not used to it. Okay, right, so that's a few tips or a few ideas just to get your mind open about some of the things that it might take to bug out in your local woods. Okay, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day out in the woods with my friend Mick, and we're going to go and have a little stroll, go and have a nice brew, and then we're going to make our way home. But lots coming up on the channel. It's been emotional. I'll see you soon.